you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. I know everybody who's on this call appreciates you coming out of our radios, coming out of our speakers, and actually being in front of us, and being so funny and generous and loving to the Clark sisters with us. And I just want to tell you, thank you so very much for that. What I would say, I'm going to be a little contrarian for a moment, and I want to talk about this idea of Black girl magic, because there is this perception that Black women suffer, and it's this idea that we are magical, and that our singing, our writing, our playing somehow just appears from the sky. And the reality is that's not the case. And Miss Dorinda can attest to that, and every woman on this call can attest to that, that it's hard work. It's hard work. It's brains. It's intellect.
Yes.
Behind that. Elbernita Twinkie Clark, when she was writing Is My Living in Vain, she was writing a song that was putting her dead against everything she was probably ever taught. Because one of the things I know I was taught never to question, I was never to question God.
Wow.
And so brilliant with the music that she wrote, she also brilliantly spoke to the alienation that not just Black women feel, but people feel.
Yes.
When you ask that question, is what I'm doing all day, every day in these factories, is what I'm doing all day, every day in this church, is my playing, is my loving, will it matter ultimately in the end? Will it matter? And she asked that question in a time when women weren't supposed to say nothing, and still supposed to say nothing. She asked that question. It was a revolutionary moment. And that was the stuff of Miss Elbernita Clark's intellect, her brain. And the reason why it's important for me to say that is because a lot of times, Christine will attest to this, is that we get asked, why is it important for us to care about the Clark sisters? And usually it's white people who ask us these questions. Now, here's the thing. They wouldn't ask that question about Bob Dylan. They would ask that question about Springsteen. It's expected to think that their legends are justified, right? But we have to justify our musical geniuses. We have to justify it. But what I'm so excited about with this movie is that we got a chance to show ourselves to ourselves, not to anybody else. We got a chance to show ourselves to ourselves. And if the world don't get it, that's all right. That's all right. That is all right. It's all right. And so 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people are going to be singing about the Clark sisters. People are going to be singing the Clark sisters. And so I'm hoping that our little movie might be a part of that story too.
Yes. And that's why the Emmys have to take notice to what has happened in this historic moment that you so eloquently just presented before us. And you painted the picture of the value and importance of not only the Clark sisters, but the reasoning and the intent and the motive behind the music and the mission. And I want to let you know that the Emmys have to take notice. Hollywood has to take notice. The world has to take notice that all of you that are on this call, y'all are here and y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't going nowhere. And as a proud husband of 24 years to a powerful, intelligent Black woman, as a father to two beautiful Black daughters, I want you all to know how humbling it was to be a fan and to sit and to listen to the beauty and the power and the promise that you all shared with us in this conversation. This was a great honor. This was a great honor. This This is a moment that I hope everyone that watches this and gets a chance to see this can be impacted by not what is scripted and not what is produced, but what is tangible and real, that is the win in the back of every Black and brown woman throughout history. It has been their faith, it has been their song, it has been their struggle and their story. And I am honored to be a participant. I hope that as your Black brother, that I can continue to encourage the men that are supposed to undergird you, serve you, support you, and lift you higher, that we will do a better job. And they will continue to acknowledge the areas that we have not done well in, and that we will raise up a generation of young Black and brown men that will continue to change that and celebrate the excellence that God put inside of a Black woman. Because if we will